Hello professional, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ekemini Jacob, and in today's video I will share with you the information you need to know about gaining your PDUs for all your PMI certifications. Stay tuned, let's dive into it. Before we continue, what is PDU? People may ask. PDU stands for Professional Development Unit, and it is designed by PMI, Project Management Institute, to ensure that all professionals with their certifications, be it the PMP, CAPM, and other PMI certifications, continue to learn and update their knowledge through learning, through participating in PMI activities, through volunteering, through even practicing. PMI expects all certification holders to gain a certain amount of PDUs within a certain amount of years to be able to renew their certifications. For PMP certification holders, one is required to gain 60 PDUs after every 3 years for their renewal. For the CAPM certification, one is required to gain 15 PDUs after every 3 years. And for the ACP certification holders, one is required to gain 30 PDUs after every 3 years for their renewals. To many people, gaining 60 PDUs within 3 years is very simple. As a matter of fact, some people can gain 60 PDUs and more within the first 6 months. To many others, gaining this amount of PDU can prove very difficult. So this video is for you if you're one of those finding it hard. So sit back, relax. Let's go through how you can gain all this needed PDU and how you can report all of them on the PMI dashboard. So the first thing you do is to log into your PMI dashboard, which I've already done. So I am on the PMI website. I've logged into my PMI account. So once that is done, you need to check on my PMI, which is at the far right side of your of the PMI website. So you click on the drop down icon that is there and then click on dashboard. So and then you wait for your dashboard to open. I think my dashboard may be a little bit messy because of the device I'm using. I have to use the web formats on my iPad. All right, so there's some distortion there. As you can see, this is my dashboard. I have completed. You have a check here because I've gotten the needed 60 PDUs for my PMP renewal, and then I still have like 2 years left out of 3 years. My renewal would be in 2016, and then this is 2024. I have accumulated all the PDUs needed for my certificate renewal. So what you would do here is you locate where you have report PDUs. So if you're trying to report your PDUs, you locate where you have report PDUs. There are other places on the website, the PMI website, you can find these. So, but wherever you're locating these, but once you click, it will take you to the PDU dashboard where you can claim all the PDUs you want to. All right, so we are here, and the first thing you could notice on the screen is the fact that PDU claims are divided into two major areas, and that is education and giving back. Education has to do with learning activities that allow you to broaden your knowledge in one of the PMI talent triangle areas, that is the way of working, power skills, and business acumen. All what this talks about is the fact that as a certified professional by PMI, you have to continue to learn to develop your capacity in the three major areas that makes up the PMI triangle. That is way of working, which has to do with your knowledge of your project management methodology, what approach you have to use. Is it going to be waterfall or agile, or is it going to be hybrid? If it is agile, are you using Scrum or are you using any other framework? So just the knowledge in project management that has to do with what approach should I use. That is what way of working talks about. Power skills is that area of your ability to manage people in your team, your project team, manage human beings, your emotional intelligence, your leadership abilities, has to do with your power skills, and business acumen entails your knowledge of the business environment of which you're managing the project within. So that's it for education. On the other hand, giving back has to do with all activities that enables you to share and apply your knowledge and skills as a means to contribute to the provision of project management. So everything that has to do with you giving back to the community, to PMI, to any other organizations, as long as it entails you giving your time, resources, knowledge to the growth of project management profession, that has to do with giving back. But first of all, we are going to focus on education. So the first one you have under education is PMI code. This is always the easiest way of reporting your PDU. So after attending a course that was offered by an accredited training partner or a registered education provider of PMI, they will give you a 10-digit code. All what you have to do is to come here. I have a claim code. Click on I have a claim code. Input those digits, whether it's going to be numbers or numbers and letters. And once you've done that, just click on apply. PMI will review, and within few seconds or within few minutes or sometimes hours or sometimes days, your PDU would be approved, and it should appear on your dashboard. And at all times, once your PDU is submission or request has been received and then approved or rejected, you're always going to have email confirmation to it. So that's it for claim code, which is very easy. So there's always this question box here. So if you click on each of them, you should have more information about what that entails. Things like the maximum amount of PDU you can gain from that area. So that's it for claim code. The next one is course or training. So course or training has to do with you attending any form of formal education, formal training. It could be by an accredited trainer, or it could be by any other institution outside there. But the knowledge or the course has a lot to do with management, project management, or anything you can gain that aids your project management profession. That is what this entails. So all what you need to do is to click open. And once it opens, you see the information. You provide all the information that is needed. You will see the provider name. That is the name of the training institution you took that course with. The next one is course name, the name of the course, and the big box here is a description of the course. It is optional for this one. It is optional, so you can decide to leave that empty, but it's always good to describe what the course you took was all about. And then you see date started and date completed. There are other information like links or URL, the links to probably that course, contact person, the name, the phone number, the email address of any contact person in case PMI wants to confirm if the information you provided is true. Just they will want to confirm that. So it's also optional. You could decide to provide those information. You may decide not to. So and at the end of it, all what you have to do is to give the amount of PDUs that is allocated to each of the triangles. So if it was a course that you want to request for, say, nine PDU, say it was a 9-hour course, and then you want to request for 9 PDU, so you could decide to say, okay, the course 30% of the course was about your way of working, 30% was about power skill, and then the remaining was business acumen. So you could decide to split 3-3-3. The moment you input those divisions, it will automatically total the PDUs allotted. For example, I will input 3 there, and then I come to power skill and then input 3, and then I go to business acumen, input 3, and that automatically totals 9. You could see here 9 PDUs. All what you need to do for each time you want to report to PDU, at the end of it, you have to agree. And once you click here, agree, and then you submit. And once you submit, sometimes it takes few minutes, or some PDUs PDU requests could take hours, some could take days. but at the end you will receive an email that submission or a request for a PDU has been received, and then once the PDU is approved, you will receive an email, and that will be automatically updated on your PMI dashboard. Okay, so once you're done with that, you just have to wait for your PDU to be updated. That's it for course and training. The next one is organizational meeting. This is where you can report PDUs after attending PMI local chapter meetings or meetings of other maybe professional organizations. And then that's at the end of it, you learned a lot about project management, or where project management or management was discussed. All you need to do is when you click open, you provide the name of the organization that hosted the meeting. It was a PMI PMI local chapter. If you type PMI there, you should be able to suggest the local chapters that are available. You just select which one you want to select. For example, I am a PMI, so I will decide to type PMI Mumbai chapter. I'm a PMI Nigerian chapter member. So if I type PMI Nigeria, you could see Nigeria coming out as an option. All I need to do is to select PMI Nigeria. Okay, so this PMI Nigeria here, so I'll just have to select that PMI Nigeria, and then the title of the meeting. If there was any meeting number, it's always optional. Most of the meetings doesn't have a number. And then you put the description. Maximum is 5,000 characters, just a little description about the meeting. And then you always going to input the start date, the end date of that meeting. If there's any URL to that meeting, you input that, and then you come to give the amount of PDUs allocated to each of the PMI triangles. And lastly, you check the agreement box here and then submit. The moment you submit, most of these things are automated, or they are designed to be approved automatically. So within few minutes, you will receive an email that your requests have been received, and then that of approval follows immediately. Some could take few hours, some could take days. So that's it for organizational meetings. After organizational meetings, the next one is online or digital media. So this basically has to do with pre-recorded webinars, podcasts, videos like the one you're watching. After watching this video, you have learned something about project management or PMI. You can go to this place and then report that you watched so video. Maybe you could provide my name here, or the name of the person who developed that webinar, that video, or that podcast, the title of that video or title of the podcast. Provide a little description in the description box here, and then input the link to this video or any other video you watched. The start date, the end date could just be the same date, and at the end of it, which areas of the PMI triangles did you get more information from. So that would determine how many. If it is maybe you are requesting for one PDU, you could decide to say just one PDU here, and then once you are done, it should total the total amount of PDU, and then you check the box and then click on submit. So I did not fill in this information. That is why it cannot submit, or it's highlighting that these information are not provided. Okay, so once you're done with that, you should wait for your PDUs to be approved. Just very simple. And then after that, let's go back to the other options. Okay, what option is remaining? Read. So this is where you can get PDUs from reading books, articles online, or blogs that are related to project management. If you click open, you're going to see where you need to input the link to the book, or the name of the book, the author, the title of the book, a description of the book. If it was an article, you could provide the link, but links are always optional. The start date and the end date, and then your breakdown of the number of PDUs to each of the PMI triangle. You accept, agree to the terms and conditions, and then you click on submit. everything should be submitted, and within few minutes your PD you should be updated on your dashboard. That's it for reading. And lastly, under education, informal learning. Informal learning has to do with maybe group discussions at work or within your professional body. So all what you need to do is to provide the name of the group, the course or the topic of the group discussions you have, and then um, description of it, and then the contact person, just in case PMI wants to confirm that this information is true, this group discussion held, contact person's phone number, email address, the start date and the end date, and then the breakdown of the amount of PDUs you need for each of the PMI triangle. And then you check the agreement checkbox and submit. The moment you submit, your PDU should be updated. Okay, so that's it for education. So I think education has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different mediums for reporting PDUs. Okay, so now we go to giving back. Remember I said giving back has to do with everything that involves you sharing your knowledge, giving your time, volunteering to the growth of project management profession. So the first one under giving back is working as a professional. So even as a project manager, when once you're managing projects, you are eligible to have PDUs. So if you report it, you can gain PDUs from working as a professional. I think under here, the maximum of PDUs you can have is 8 PDUs if you have the PMP certification, 8 PDUs for projects you've been engaged in. So all what you need to do here is click on the link. When the link opens, you just provide the name of your employer, the job title you have, or if it was a project, probably the name of the organization you manage the project for, your role, your job title, as long as that project is concerned, your responsibilities, this time not descriptions, not description anymore, your responsibilities. If there is any URL, any link to that project, you input that here. Maybe you provide the contact details of your boss, your supervisor, or the manager, or any other authority on the project or in the organization, the phone number, email address, the start date of that project, the end date of that project, and then the amount of, here you're no longer breaking anything down to the PMI triangle, the amount of PDU you are requesting for that particular engagement, and then the checkbox you submit, and your PMI PDU should be approved. Okay, so that's it for working as a professional. So the next one is create content. So even this video I am making as a PMP certified, I can request for PDU, but I can't do so because I've already gotten all the needed PDU for my certification renewal in the next 2 years. So there's no need for that. Okay, so if you create content like writing an article, writing a book, creating a webinar, making a video like this, you can still get PDU. Click open and then provide the name of the organization you're creating the content for, or that's if you have an organization. If it's individual, you can just put your name there, the title of the content you created, maybe the title of this video, description, just make a little description. If there is any link, for example, the link to this video I have made, I would have to provide that there. Contact details, if any. Most of the times contact details are always optional. So the start dates, and then the end dates, and then the amount of PDU I need for this particular content I created. I check the agreement box and submit. So once you do that, your PDU should be in the box. After that, the next one is giving back, or sorry, give presentation. Give presentation is when you've prepared for and maybe deliver a speech or presentation, you're a keynote speaker in any event or any project management gathering or any gathering of professionals, and you prepared a presentation and deliver it, you can come here and request for PDU for that engagement. You're sharing knowledge. So The audience could be probably the name of the conference, the name of the event you presented your paper or your speech or your talk. The title of your presentation, you just give a brief description in the description box, and then if there is any link to that conference, you can provide contact persons and contact details. You can provide that. They're optional. You could decide to or could decide not to. Then the start date of the event, the end date, and the amount of PDU you want to get for that particular activity. You check the agreement box and submit, and your PDU should be approved. So that's it for give a presentation. After that, the next one is share knowledge. Share knowledge sometimes always similar to giving presentation, because you're also, when you're giving a presentation, you're also sharing knowledge. But for this has more to do with individual share of knowledge, like mentorship, like gathering people in your office and talking to them about project management, or guiding, mentoring a young person who is trying to move into project management. So what you're going to do there is click open, and when the link opens, you provide the name of the organization you were involved, you carried out that activity for or with, the title of that engagement, provide descriptions, provide contact information, the start date and end date. Then you get your PDU submitted after agreeing by checking the checkbox. Okay, so it's similar to what you've had for others. Share knowledge. And lastly, under giving back is volunteering. So as a PMI member, there's option for you to join as a PMI volunteer. So PMI will always reach out to you to volunteer in any, PMI is a non-profit organization. So almost everything that's done at PMI are done by volunteers, from development of the PM book and other PMI books or learning materials, to exams questions, to courses, and all that are all done by volunteers. So you could decide to volunteer for PMI or volunteer for any other community activities within you that involves or gets that are related or in any way to project management. You could come to request for PDU, whether you volunteered for PMI or for any other organization out there. So you just need to provide the name of the organization, the volunteer cause, that's the activities or what is related to. You provide a description, provide URL if there is any, and then contact details should PMI wants to confirm the information you've provided, the start date and the end date of that volunteer engagement, the amount of PDU you want PMI to give you for that engagement. You agree to the claims or the terms and conditions, and then submit. And once you submit, your PDU should be ready. Okay, so that's how you gain PDUs and report them in each of the areas. One thing you need to know is that there are some minimum or maximum amount of PDUs you can gain for specific areas. So what you need to do is, using this question box in circles, click each of them and see the terms and conditions that are related to requesting for PDU on that particular area. So if you use this, you could see the amount of PDU you could get, or you could have descriptions as to what kind of activity you need to carry out in each of these areas to gain the PDUs. Okay, someone could ask, do I need to gain my PDUs across all these? The answer is no. You can get your PDU from just all your PDUs from education only. So it could be maybe 2 courses, 3 courses, reporting it 3 times. You could decide to split all your PDUs to involve education and giving back. As per giving back, I think the maximum amount of PDU you can get in all your activities that involves giving back is 25. So you can't get more than 25. That's done so that you can ensure that the PMI ensures that you continue to learn. So they give bulk of the PDUs to education. So if you have 25 PDUs from giving back, the remaining 35, that totals 60 if you are renewing your PMP certification like me, has to come from education. So they are designing it like that, or they have designed it like that, so that you can continue to learn and update your knowledge. And one beautiful thing about getting PDUs from giving back is that PMI will recognize you as one of the people that are giving back to the project management profession. And at the end of each year, I think on the World Volunteers Day, PMI will always send you a customized certificate of appreciation to your email, where you can decide to download, print, hang it in your office, so people come in and see that, oh, you're recognized person by PMI on how much you give back to the society. All right, so that's it on how you can accumulate PDUs. So you could see that there are almost about 11 different areas you can gain PDUs from. So let's assume that you decide to gain two PDUs in from each of the areas. It's very possible that within a year you can get about 22. If it is 3, you can get about 33 PDUs. That's more than enough for your CAPM renewal. 30 PDUs is what you need for your ACP renewal. So sometimes I'm always surprised why some people end up missing out on their renewal deadline and lose their certifications, and they have to start the whole examination thing again to get certified again, because they couldn't renew their certification. And that's because they couldn't get the amount of PDU needed for a whole period of 3 years. Most of the certifications, the certification validity period is 3 years. After 3 years, you need to accumulate or gain some amount of PDUs to be able to renew the certification. All right, so that's it. Welcome back. If this video was helpful to you, please don't forget to give a thumbs up and also provide your feedback in the comment section. And very importantly, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for future videos. Thank you. See you in the next video.